Hi and welcome to another video for Year 9 Maths D. So this one will be another new chapter regarding coordinate geometry. So you are going to use three formula for the topic today, which is about the midpoint, the length, and the gradient of a straight line. So here you have it. The formula for the midpoint. This is the first one, and the second one is for the length, and the third one is for the gradient. And at least you have to have 2 points to use the three formula over here, right? So let's start proceed to the first one, which is about the midpoint of a line segment. So here, this is the formula. So basically all you have to do first is to label each of the point that you have. Let's say example 1, find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment with these endpoints. So A, this is the point 2, 1, and B, 6, 7. So the first thing that you have to do is to label each point. So the first coordinate that you have is A, so just label it x1, y1, and B is 6x2, and then 7 is y2. So you have to just plug in the formula, which is over here, x1 plus x2, which is 2 plus 6 everything over 2, and then comma, second one is 1 plus 7 everything over 2. So here you have 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2, and then 1 plus 7 is also 8 over 2. So there you have it, 8 divided by 2, you will receive 4 and 4. So this is the midpoint of A and B. So let's proceed for the second one, which is C. Negative 2 is x1, 1 is y1, and D is 2, x1, and 5 is x2, y2. Sorry about that. So let's proceed. X1 plus x2 is negative 2 plus 2, everything over 2, comma. Uh, y1 plus y2 over here is 1 plus 5, everything over 2. So here negative 2 plus 2 is 0, everything over 2. And then 1 plus 5 is 6 over 2. So basically 0 divided by 2, you will receive 0, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's for the first one. Example number 1. Okay, let's proceed to another example. Over here, let's have a look. A is the point negative 4, 2. The midpoint of AB is negative 1, 4. Find the coordinates of B. So over here, you are given 1 point and also the midpoint. So stick to the formula that you have. So consider A is the first point. So you label it x1, y1. And the second point is B, which is x2, y2. So when you plus x1 and x2, you have negative 1. And when you have y1 plus y2 divided by 2, you have 4. So basically, you just have to put in according to the formula, which is x1 is negative 4, and your x2 for B is unknown, so you just label x2, everything over 2, and you know your midpoint already. So for the x part, x coordinate of your midpoint is negative 1. So that's the first one. And the second one, you can expect that you will have to use 2 plus y2, everything over 2, and you know the midpoint of y coordinate. So over here, the next one I'm going to do is to cross multiply 2, move it to the left side. So you have 4 plus x2 equal negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. And then for the next one, 2 plus y2 equals 4 times 2 is 8. So let's proceed to the next one. So over here, you can see from your previous one, negative 4, you have to move it to the other side, and negative 2, you have to move it to the other side. So you can straight away get negative 2, negative 4 moved to the other side becomes positive 4. And for the y coordinates, y2 equal 8, and then positive 2 becomes negative 2. So therefore, you have the coordinate of B. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2, and 8 minus 2 is 6. So that's for the second example. Right, so let's move on to the next one, which is about the length of a line segment. So here is the formula. So basically are using the same aspects, just that you have to use different formula over here. X1 minus x2, everything squared, plus y1 minus 2, everything squared. All of the result will be under the square root. So let's proceed. Example 3, A is the point 5, 4. So I just label it x1, y1, and B is the point 3, 2, which is x2, y2. So the question here is to find the length AB. You just have to use this formula. So basically, length of AB is under the square root. So I don't like to use straight away the straight line, horizontal line. So I just put in x1 minus x2 is basically negative 5 minus 3, and then everything under square, plus y1 is 4, and you know your y2 is 2. So this is already your numbers inside the formula. So you just have to simplify everything, but do not apply square root first. So negative 5 times minus 3 is negative 8, everything under squared. And then you have, oh, I forgot to add the square. Negative 4 minus 2 is 2 squared, right? So just let me just have a look over here, right? And then everything is under square root. So let's proceed to the next one, which is negative 8 squared is 64. And then in the between you have plus 2 squared is 4. So you have under the square root 64 plus 4, which is 68 under square root. So when you use your calculator, you will have something like 8.2462 blah blah blah, but then you have to run off to the three significant figures. So basically your answer will be 8.25. And for any length regarding the coordinate geometry, you just have to use the units as your length of units. So 8.25 units, correct to three significant figure. All right, now for the last one, you have over here the gradient of a straight line graph. So here is also quite straightforward. You just have to use the formula m equal y2 minus y1, everything over x2 minus x1. So let's have a look at example 4. Find the gradient of the line joining the points 3, 5 and 8, 7. So this is your x1, y1. So this is your x2, y2. Now, unlike the previous formula, gradient is basically measurement of steepness of a line. So you can take any 2 points from the line as long as you get it from the line itself. So here it could be anywhere on the line. So the point here is you can have any points on the line. So let's proceed here. M, and then everything is y2 minus y1. Be careful over here. Y2 is 7, and then minus 5, and then x2 on the denominator, 8 minus 3. So 7 minus 5 is 2, and then 8 minus 3 is 5. So you have a fraction as your answer for the gradient, so it doesn't matter, just leave it B. Okay, and then for the last point, this is the summary of the possibility of the gradient that you can have. So gradient, you can have a positive gradient, so the line will look like this. And the second one, when you have a negative gradient, the line will look like this. And when you have a zero gradient, the line is horizontal on the Cartesian coordinate. And when you have undefined gradient, which means uh, any number will be over 0 in your working, so you can have undefined gradient. So that's it for the topic of midpoint, length, and gradient. I hope it can help you. So thank you very much, and see you next time.